Good morning, my dudes, and welcome to the second Friday Snapshot day in a row. You know, in a sense, I bet you weren't even thinking about. This is pretty remarkably groundbreaking because this is the first time in literally years on years that we have two Friday snapshots. Over the course of today's video, to walk us perfectly into the weekend, we're going to take a look at some MACE stuff, some enchanting stuff, some exploration stuff, some speed stuff, and even more. Tap like and let's do this. The perfecting of a Minecraft 1.21 continues. We kick everything off today with my dear friend Jamie Beast, Efficiency 5 Netherite Shovel, fastest thing in the world, and yes, again, finally, you can insta-mine blocks. Last week's snapshot, if you didn't end up checking it out in survival or anything like that, well, spoiler alert, it was a little bit broken. If you had any overpowered tool inside of your world and you wanted to insta-mine literally anything, well, it just didn't work. It actually happened to me live on camera in yesterday's video, so next up, check that one out if you haven't. In the world of enchanting, Minecraft 1.21 is updating this stuff in a really nice way, with brand new tooltips. This week around, when it comes to the tooltips, we get closer to being correct. Instead of this being red like fire, it's now blue because it's not a bad effect, but on feet, on legs, on head, we're so close. So certain enchantment tooltips, funnily enough, are still giving that TMI information thing. Quite frankly, I don't care what this would do when it's on my head because I'm probably never going to put this on my head. Sorry. Now, speaking of fire, while we're talking about that, in last week's snapshot, a beautiful parody update happened. Here I've got my friend Carl Beast with the enchantment fire aspect too. If I take Jimmy Beast and unlight the campfire, then I take Carl Beast and hit the campfire, I can turn the campfire on. It's so cool looking. Same thing with candles. Copper bulbs. In last week's snapshot, because of this amazing fire aspect parody update, you could actually use the fire aspect sword as basically a toggle. Like I could interact with the copper bulb and turn the thing on, but that was clearly a huge bug. It doesn't work like that anymore. But speaking of the copper bulb, listen. Alright, it's hard to tell, but the copper bulb sound, like the activation, deactivation, you know, that sound has been changed. It's now the same, both ways. Next up, it's over to the infamous Mwam. Now, we've talked about some of Mwam's doings before. I want you to take this with a grain of salt because technically not certified in stone. But another week, another cape. These capes are for TikTok and Twitch and hopefully be on Java and Bedrock redeem code. Otherwise, I'm being gaslit. So allegedly, brand new capes, more of them, are coming to Minecraft. Throwing us back a couple of weeks ago now at this point, there was one big cape that was leaked, but still, unfortunately, nothing has come of it. So, do these capes make it into the game? I guess we're gonna have to wait and see, and in the TikTok's case, they're gonna have to hurry that one up, because soon it's gonna be banned. I am personally feeling a strong mix on the idea of capitalism seeping into Minecraft capes, but what do you think? Do you think there should be capes, like, branded with different brands? Let me know down below. Now, earlier this morning, none other than Mosh was teasing some trial chamber changes, but strangely enough, inside of the snapshot, at least according to the changelog, there are no more brand new chambers. Also throwing us back a couple of weeks ago, Mosh was teasing things like stair spike, and then recently this morning, things like diagonal. I don't know what in the world stair spike could be. Not sure what diagonal is either. Will these changes make it into the update right before the release that seems to be creeping up? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but it seems a little bit late for more chambers. Not complaining though. Whoa, no way. On a different note, this trial chamber almost reaches the surface of the ocean, but still surface. This is the highest climbing one that I've seen so far. That's cool. The most technical saga of all time continues in this week's snapshot as well. Datapack version 43 with all of this technical mumbo-jumbo nonsense going on, and more enchantment stuff, and more tag stuff, block tags, damage type. Oh boy. Now, in the world of other technical changes, maybe ones that you might experience a little bit more in-game when you're just existing, chunk loading performance has been improved, and clearly the entire world being made up of chunks on chunks on chunks, this is potentially a pretty big deal change. Combine that with the spawn chunk changes that they made in 1.20.5, and well, oh boy, with all of the technical changes that have been going on behind the scenes, and then the technical improvements as well, and practically 1.21 by the time it releases, this is an entirely brand new game on the inside. That's crazy. Now for these chunk loading changes, allegedly, according to the changelog, the new system is going to have a less memory and CPU overhead, but unfortunately, this is going to be one of those things where we just need to actually like test it, play with it in game, and see how much smoother it actually is. According to the changelog, exactly, when reading an already generated chunk from disk, surrounding chunks are no longer necessarily loaded. This is also visible on the single-player world loading screen. So what I think that means is when we load the... Whoa, that was quick. What I think it means is when we load the world, I couldn't even say a sentence, gosh. 64. One stack of bug fixes. We're looking at 64 total bug fixes inside of this snapshot. Guys, usually as these updates go on, I don't know how long you've followed update development, but usually the later snapshots fix more and more bugs, and wow, 64 bug fixes? That is insane. That's even more than last week that I think was like 57 or something. Now, a lot of these bug fixes have to do with a lot of the broken enchantment-related stuff, issues that probably popped up when enchantments were made data-driven last week instead. However, some issues directly relate to the mace. So speaking of the mace, check this out. When I equip the mace, look at this slow draw, like load up time. Like, whoa, that's like gearing the weapon up, getting it ready to actually like, attack. Once that little sword fully loads, it's ready to be swung, and wow, that is way slower than it ever was. Let's say I had an unsuspecting target, or maybe suspecting, I guess it doesn't matter. Well, if I hit whatever that target is with the mace, oh, that cooldown is slow. I definitely didn't feel like that last time. Wow. I actually love the idea of a mace different attack speed. If you remember those combat test snapshots that have seemingly evaporated into the thin air, well, the whole thing was different weapons, different attack speeds and reaches and everything like that. And I don't know about the reach when it comes to the mace, but wouldn't that be a clever way to slowly introduce those combat changes? Maybe adjust the mace's reach, make it shorter, make the trident's reach a little bit longer, and leave the sword the same for now. Slowly implement the new system, and then eventually, wham bam, it's all brand new. Anyways, I got 14 and 925 levels for a big reason here. Bane of Arthropods, we go ahead and put that on a mace. Then we want to put, like, Smite. No. But those enchantments were always mutually exclusive. It was never going to work. How about maybe Density? Well, it's mutually exclusive this week. What about Breach? Yup, unfortunately, the same thing. Those 4 enchantments can never go on the same mace, which means decisions. At least in my opinion, when it comes to survival Minecraft in a solo setting, I feel like a Smite mace might be the best move. It's just overall better damage, but it's totally your call. Now, speaking of the mace enchantments, I'd like to see if the enchanting table is working how it works on Minecraft to Bedrock. When I enchant this stuff on Bedrock, I get more than just like your standard basic enchantments like Breach and whatever. For example, I'm sometimes able to get like Bane of Arthropods or Smite. And yikes. Why in the world is every mace that I'm enchanting exactly the same? Oh, wait, that's right. That's because they made everything mutually exclusive, and the whole wind charge thing, wind burst, well, it doesn't exist here. I understand the enchantments can't go together, but this makes enchanting the mace inside of the table insanely top 10 most boring thing of all time. Oh gosh, and when it comes to the mace changes, I said they weren't in last week's snapshot, but low-key, they actually were in last week's snapshot. Today, we have a 1 mace buff, and then a whole bunch of mace nerfs. Big and beautiful mace buff. The durability of this little buddy right here has been raised. It's been doubled. Eventually, once I get this thing to take a little bit of damage, we can pick it up and take a look at the durability and find 500 durability. That's insane. Oh, and by the way, if you ever wanted to, say, repair your mace inside of the crafting table, well, unfortunately, inside of the crafting table, if I want to repair the mace, I need to get another mace, another heavy cord. Nope, that's not going to work. Or in my opinion, I feel like iron would be like an understandable way to repair the mace. Maybe even breeze rod. No. You have to go through the grind again and get a whole second mace if you want to repair it. I guess this is yet another reason why you absolutely need to get mending before you do any of this. The density enchantment. Previously, per extra level of density, we would get 1 whole extra attack damage. 1 extra level as in 1 block equals 1 more point of damage per level of density. Now that density amount per block extra is going to be 0.5. That'll mean, for example, a density 4 mace will add a maximum bonus damage of 2 points. Not a big fan of enchantments. Well, previously, no big deal. The mace instinctually was the same as a diamond sword, having 7 attack damage. Now, according to the changelog, the mace has a base of 5 attack damage. However, taking a look at it in game, it says 6. Mace fall off damage has been nerfed. The first 3 blocks that you fall are going to give 4 damage per block. So 4, that is 12 damage if I fell 3 blocks. The next 5 blocks that I fall will give it 2 damage per block. So that's going to be 20 damage plus 12. That's 32 damage. After that, one extra additional block, every single one of them, will give one more bonus damage. 8, 9, 10. So let's say I fell 10 blocks right there, 5 blocks right there, and then 3 blocks right there. So that'll all add up to 12 damage for the red section, 10 damage for the small yellow section, and then 10 more damage for that big long green one, equating 32 total. Now, I don't know about you, everyone's different. How do you retain abstract random information? If you're like me, it's not very much, but basically that means a whole lot of damage for falling all those blocks. However, not enough damage to one-hit an iron golem. All in all, oh boy, a whole bunch of mace changes. What do you think? And should they adjust the trident right now? Just low-key start to add the combat update? In the world of changes, not anybody's all coming in the world. Frostwalker, if I go ahead and walk around in ice, well now, if I was detecting the vibration frequency, like the strength of the vibration the signal will output, well that number is now going to be 13. A tiny thing I guarantee you didn't know you could do. Let's say I had a bad mob after you and I was holding a chest plate with thorns on it. Well, if I'm holding something enchanted with thorns in my hand, it could actually hurt something. Like, not every time, but this comes from a bug fix that happened in between last snapshot and this one, and this is just like shocking. I didn't know this was a thing. In the world of cave sounds, the most terrifying sounding thing in the world, we have 4 brand new cave sounds inside of this snapshot. This will easily make 1.21 more ominous than it ever was before. And so, when it comes to Minecraft Snapshot 24w19a, 64 bug fixes, technical stuff, and even more, that's gonna just about do it. Now, it's not normal that I post a video on a Friday, let alone post it 2 times in a row. Last week on stream, we did start something really cool, though, that I'm hoping to continue soon. We were basically, like, stranded inside of this backrooms adventure map. It's really, really cool. So if you haven't caught last week's stream, check it before we do part 2 very soon. Huge thank you to my patrons of the Duke, Pixie Phantom, Awkward Burb, Deb K, and Fateful Grim One. Thank you all for watching. Tap like, subscribe, and have a nice week. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.